We continue now with an interview we did with Jerry Winter, 1972 graduate of Turkey Valley, certainly one of the finest athletes ever at the school. We're picking up where he's talking about how a potential professional baseball career came to an end while he was pitching at Iowa State. So right now, let's pick back up on that.
And Jerry, a lot of us, as we grow up, our goal is to be, when we're kids, we want to play Major League Baseball. You're a guy that really probably had to really think seriously that you had a shot to play at least professional baseball. I mean, was that going through your mind at that time when you were at Iowa State, possibly doing that someday?
Yeah, that's exactly. That was my goal. I never was that good of a student at Iowa State. I hate to say that, but I wasn't. But my junior year, I will say this, the same Philly scout was at where we were, where Iowa State was, and he was talking to me after games and asked if I'd sign after my junior year, and I told him absolutely. It wouldn't take much to get me to sign, probably a $50 bill, and I would have left. The thing was then my junior year against Oklahoma, that's the day I tore something in the bullpen, and I went out and tried to pitch. And again, that was a mistake. I'll just tell you, if there's any young pitchers listening here, if your arm's saying something to you, listen. I needed an off-speed pitch because I had a fastball and slider. I got a 12-6 curveball working, but I wasn't throwing it the right way, and that's what happened. And I knew it was coming. I could feel it every time I was getting sorer and sorer, which I never really had that much soreness. But that day, it snapped a little bit. I went out and tried to finish, and that's the last day I seen the scout. So that's just how it goes.
Wow. So that was a time when you probably knew a professional career was not in the cards, I guess.
Yeah, well, I think I was going to have an opportunity, but again, when there's an injury, right, you're just a commodity to them, and I don't blame the scout at all. I never really came back from that. I was never 100% after that.
Well, outside of baseball, you also had a pretty good career at Turkey Valley in football and in basketball. I think you played on several good teams in both sports, right?
Yeah, that's true. Again, I don't have great recall on this, but I know we had conference championships while I was there in football and both in basketball. Again, just a great group of guys to play with, and it was just an outstanding time.
And Jerry, as you look back and now reflect 40 years later, what has the experience not only at Turkey Valley but also at Iowa State, meant to you as far as development as a person and helping you be a success in life?
Well, I think being in sports is a wonderful thing. There's a lot of dedication given to that, a lot of discipline. I mentioned I wasn't the best guy with the books at Iowa State. I'm still not one of the smartest people, but it's translated into working at Rockwell for 33 years, where the one thing that I think helps me is I do compete on a daily basis. If I don't know how to do something, I try to figure it out, and the connections that I've made through all the sports has been outstanding. And then I'll just mention quickly that for the last 32 years, I've been a football official in both basketball and a football official and a basketball official. And just like last night, I went to the Iowa game with Purdue in baseball. I went down by myself, and I ended up sitting with probably 10 different guys. Just the connections across the state are there, and it's just what I do as a hobby versus some guys that play golf and fish.
Right. Right, and I know you've stayed very active, and besides the officiating in high school sports, you had children going through Xavier. I think they all went there, and you had a great honor a few years ago. You were named Iowa Volunteer of the Year by Casey's magazine, and that just shows us that Jerry Winter has been very much involved in his school, Xavier, now through the years, and that has to be a great feeling, being known that you're recognized as a great volunteer as well.
Yes, that was a nice honor, and Randy, it just seemed like the thing to do. I had a son, that liked to play, and he enjoyed it, and that's what I tell all the dads that ask me about things now is you can't push, but you just give them the opportunity to play. And I had the great experience to have not only a baseball opportunity, but a softball, because I have a couple daughters also, and I found out that the game of softball is as much fun as baseball.
Absolutely, and one more thing, you always have kept up with Turkey Valley too. I remember a few years back you saying how you would hang the articles about great Turkey Valley accomplishments around Rockwell there, and so you have always, and you have brothers and sisters around this area, so you have always kept track of Turkey Valley, haven't you?
Absolutely. I still do it to this day, Andy. I cut articles out all the time about Turkey Valley. I post them in the men's bathroom right above the urinal, just like if you go into a Hooters. And the director in contracts here, he laughs and shakes his head, and I said, do I need to quit doing that? And he says, no, keep it up. So they love reading about kids up there, and there's been some outstanding athletes, and they've had some great. I know the baseball team had a championship in there, and we met with those guys a couple years ago when they had some folks back to Turkey Valley, so that was a lot of fun.
And Jerry, you'll find this interesting. I think my son's on the Turkey Valley baseball team now, and they have a shot at going this year to the state tournament. They're down in Class 1A. They have a couple of good senior pitchers, and have a shot to make a run this year. So you'll want to keep track of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Jerry. Anything else we need to know about your life over the last 40 years?
No, except that, Randy, I'm just like everybody else. It's going awfully fast, and it's hard to believe it's 40 years. But I appreciate everybody that keeps bringing us back to Turkey Valley and all the good things that happen up there. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, like Brad Winter, played baseball and had good football, and then all the Merricks in their wrestling. Been to the state tournament a lot and have enjoyed all of those things. And the Drozell family down here in Cedar Rapids, too. My sister Debbie's down here, and she's had 3 real good athletes.
And Brad, your nephew, trumped you on one thing. He led his team, or helped lead his team, to the state basketball tournament, something you could never accomplish.
That's right. I was at the sub-state final, too. I saw that game. So, yeah, good for them. He was a very athletic young man.
A great all-around athlete and a great young man, too, Brad. He was a tremendous center fielder at Turkey Valley.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jerry, thanks a lot for your time. Continued success, over the next 40 years or so, and we'll do this again in 40 years.
Yeah, okay. Hey, I sure appreciate it. Thanks for all the good things you do. I do enjoy watching your deals that you have on the Internet. Dennis Merrick kind of keeps me appraised of those. Hey, got to mention real quick, too, Lyle and Mary Kay Clemish's son, Ben, is doing a great job in the D3 tournament. That's a guy to watch.
Oh, okay.
Everybody should watch him. I understand he's a tremendous pitcher. So
that's what I understand, too. That'd be Lyle Klemish and Mary Kay Kashutka.
Yeah. He was our classmate of mine.
Right.
And he just beat Coe in the D3 Nationals just a couple days ago. So.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. I knew saw Mary Kay about a year ago, and we talked about him doing some pitching.
From the articles I'm reading, he's got a shot. So let's hope that he gets drafted and good things follow.
Absolutely. Well, Jerry, thanks a lot. It's been a pleasure. A lot of fun talking with you, and thanks a lot. Jerry Winter from the class of 1972, certainly one of the finest athletes ever at Turkey Valley.